Hey everyone, what's going on? So I wanted to talk about this free Britney thing, the Britney Spears thing, debacle, whatnot, the conservatorship. But I don't just want to talk about that though. That's not really the main focus of the video because obviously my opinions about Britney Spears' family, can basically controlling every aspect of her life and Britney not being able to have a life of her own. I mean, I think my opinion is the same as everyone else's opinion on this. I mean, it's fucked up. Her family is obviously very greedy and selfish. At least her father is. Probably her sister too, Jamie Lynn Spears. I don't know if anyone saw that. She released a video where she was basically trying to defend herself and whatnot, and claiming that she cared about her sister and she was so proud of her and whatnot. But the whole thing kind of came off kind of phony and whatnot. Never thought she was a good actress to begin with, actually. If anyone's seen Zoe 101, it was on a long time ago, but I used to watch it. And, I know this is completely off topic for this video, but, this is probably going to be a little bit rambly here and there. But, I mean, if any of you remember the show Zoe 101, this girl goes to this boarding school. She makes all these friends, and I mean, it was just a teeny bop show on Nickelodeon, essentially. I mean, kind of like iCarly, sort of, kind of, a little bit different. But, I mean, if you watch the show, I mean, you can tell that, Jamie Lynn Spears is just a step below all the other actors. And, I mean, those are Nickelodeon actors, not necessarily the best actors in the world. But, I mean, she was below all of them. Didn't have a lot of range, and she still doesn't. So, but that's besides the point. Her family, very messed up, very greedy, very selfish, controlling every aspect of Britney's life, and it's not right. Britney deserves to have a life of her own. If she decided to quit singing and quit being an entertainer altogether and do her own thing, if she wanted to quit her job and start working at a fucking McDonald's, if that's what she wanted to do, she should be able to do that and just retire in peace and have a life of peace, And if any of the paparazzi, tried to bother her, she should be able to legally shoot them. I mean, I know that's an extreme opinion, but I mean, I think sometimes at a certain point there should be a law that makes it legal to where celebrities can fucking shoot these fucking paparazzi assholes, these douchebags who make their living off of harassing others, But, just my extreme opinion on that. But no, I made a post about this on Facebook not a while ago, a few days ago, because I had watched a video from Lauren Southern, of all people, and I think she made a really good video on this Britney Spears thing. I would encourage everyone to check it out. But she was basically talking about how this Britney Spears thing should really be should be a gateway for a conversation, a bigger conversation about the nature of the entertainment industry and Hollywood as a whole, and just how toxic and vile and just dangerous, and just how, even at times, quite frankly, how evil it can be, how it can affect you, because there's been a lot of victims in Hollywood, especially from celebrities who were in it since they were kids. There's been a lot of people who have been speaking up about this for years and years and years. I mean, Britney Spears is just another victim. She's a victim, not trying to minimalize her experience or what she's currently going through, because it is very screwed up. But I mean, she's just another victim of all this, of family having too much control, of being forced into fame at such a young age. It's Corey Feldman. I don't know if anyone knows who that is. He was in a bunch of movies during the 80s and whatnot. He was kind of a heartthrob, I think. He was in The Lost Boys, Stand By Me, just a lot of movies during the 80s. But, he's been vocal about the abuse that he suffered as a child actor, in Hollywood and in the entertainment industry, about how he was sexually abused and whatnot. And his friend Corey Haim, who is now dead, same thing happened to him. and arguably that's what led to his death. Because he was also another big child actor, heartthrob in the '80s and whatnot. And he got hooked on drugs, and he was drinking, and I mean hard drugs too. I mean, and it ended up killing him. He ended up overdosing, I believe. And the reason he did all those drugs was probably because he never got proper help for the abuse that he suffered as a child in Hollywood. I mean, there are so many others. Drew Barrymore is another one. I mean, I think everyone knows who Drew Barrymore is for the most part. I mean, probably one of her most famous roles, funny enough, was probably one of when she was in E.T. She was the little girl in E.T. And I mean, she's been in other stuff too, but I think she wrote a book about it, about how she came from a famous family. I think her father was an actor. Her mother was also involved in the entertainment industry, I believe. And she wrote a book about how, I mean, all the time there would be parties at her parents' house, and, she would just pushed into fame at such a young age, when she didn't even really want to be that. I think that some of these people just continue to act or sing or whatever it may be because it's really the only thing they really know how to do. They don't really know how to do anything else because they never got the chance to learn how to do anything else. I mean, Drew Barrymore, she doesn't even really act anymore. I don't think she's got her own talk show now, but I mean, she doesn't even really act anymore. But she's another example. I think in her book it talked about how at the age of like 10, 11, she was an alcoholic. She was drinking at age 10 or 11. She was drinking heavily because of the environment she was around. There's a YouTuber called Lady White Rabbit who did a video series on this. She did one on Corey Haim. She did one on Shirley Temple too. Shirley Temple was another one who I think was I don't know that she suffered to the same extent as some of those others I just mentioned, but I know that there was an incident with her too when she was another child actress who was put into acting at a very young age. She didn't act for very long though. She got out of it, and I think was a politician actually. But I mean, there are countless examples. Elijah Wood's another one. Elijah Wood has come out and I think he came out some time ago and said, yeah, Hollywood is filled with predators and pedophiles and snakes and whatnot. And Elijah Wood, yet another example. Child actor, got into it at a young age, and, of course, everyone knows Elijah Wood for being Frodo in the Lord of the Rings movies, but, Macaulay Culkin's another one, arguably. I don't know that Macaulay Culkin has claimed that he was abused. I know his parents were very, very weird. They were, another example of being ushered into the entertainment world and whatnot. But, we saw Macaulay Culkin visibly in public for years and years. He looked awful. Like, everyone was concerned for his health, and it might have been all the shit that he went through, with being, in the entertainment industry at such a young age and everything that he went through. Again, I don't know if he's made any claims, but, who knows, the horrors that he had to suffer, the environment that he had to deal with. And he's not acting anymore either, I don't really think. I think he makes, occasional appearances here and there, but, he doesn't even really act anymore. He got out of it. I think he more focused on, music, I think, or something. But the point is, though, is that, Britney is just one example of a much bigger and more sinister issue in Hollywood, again, in the entertainment industry, whatever you want to call it. And, it's time that they were held accountable, quite frankly. It's time that some type of law was passed or something, I don't know, but I think that it's, we see these cases again with Corey Feldman, Corey Haim, Drew Barrymore, Elijah Wood speaking out about it. And just countless others. Britney, she was really, really young when she was pushed into this fame, and now being controlled by her family. We see time and time again what happens, and it's my opinion. Seeing all these cases, I'm kind of the opinion that children shouldn't be in the entertainment industry. They shouldn't be in Hollywood or and doing all this stuff because it's not a good environment to grow up in. And especially with all the corrupt and corrupt people with whatever their own agendas are, and and whatnot. But you know, but like I said, and like the Lauren Southern video I mentioned, the free Britney thing. I support that 100%, and I hope that Britney is able to get out of that conservatorship. She should be out of that conservatorship. It should be she should have her wish granted and have it dissolved, and she should be able to live her own life. It's ridiculous that she can't. Like, it's ridiculous that I think she's almost, 40 years old? And she's still controlled by her father? And by her own family? It's ridiculous. Like, of course she should be able to be independent, free, and whatnot. I mean, when I think about it more and more, it really pisses me off. Like, no one should be controlled like that. That's evil, is what it is. Some people might think that's a strong word, but it really is. It's evil. Then your own fucking daughter, your own fucking kid, using them as a cash cow. Not having the support of your own fucking family. That's fucked up. And it's the same way with all these other child stars and these child actors and whatnot. People should take this Britney Spears thing and, like I said, make it a bigger conversation about getting children and young people out of the entertainment industry, because we have seen what happens with so many of them. I mean, arguably, it killed Corey Haim. Like, what it did to him, he got sexually abused. Then he started doing drugs and whatnot, probably because he didn't get the proper help for it, he didn't deal with it properly. And as a result, he did all the stuff that he did, and now he's gone. He's dead at a young age, which is awful. But I would encourage everyone to, I know that Lauren Southern has been more of a political figure than anything. I mean, but regardless of what you think of her, I would check that video out. I'll just go ahead and link it below. I'll also link, the Lady White Rabbit channel that I mentioned, because, like I said, she's done documentaries on several of these cases where these actors and actresses, and I mean, Michael Jackson is yet another example. I know how some people feel about Michael Jackson, but I mean, he's another example of someone who was forced into fame at such a young age. I mean, with Michael Jackson, it was pretty extreme, especially with his father. Natalie Wood is another example who got forced into acting at a very, very young age. And I think it's unclear of how she died. Some people say she committed suicide. Others say she fell off that boat and drowned. And that's another one that the Lady White Rabbit channel did, another documentary video that she did. It was on Natalie Wood. I would encourage everyone to check that out as well. But I feel like this video is just all over the place and rambly, but, I guess what I'm trying to say is, don't stop at the Britney Spears thing. Like, it is about Britney in this case, because this is her situation, but let it open up a bigger conversation about the corruption and the toxicity of, again, the entertainment industry and Hollywood, and how sometimes younger children are treated and what goes on behind the scenes and whatnot. It should be open the conversation, or more like rejuvenate the conversation about that with Britney Spears and whatnot and what she's going through. I'm not saying that now. I mean, it's a little bit different, because in this case, it's not really so much that Britney Spears is claiming to have been abused per se, or at least by unnameable people in Hollywood, producers or directors or something. I mean, maybe so. I don't know. Maybe there's more that she hasn't said, but in this case, it is specifically her family that is heavily controlling her and that she wants out. That's the situation with that, but it's the same in the sense that she became famous at a very, very young age, when perhaps she wouldn't have chosen that. No child should be forced to do anything they don't want to do. Should be forced into any environment that they don't want to be in. It's abuse, plain and simple. And you've got powerful people who will take advantage of children because their parents are very blasé about it and won't do anything about it. And it just needs to be a conversation about that and why there needs to be more attention on that, and it needs to end. So, anyways, I'm going to end it there. Again, this video was kind of all over the place and rambly, but again, I think you get what I'm trying to say. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. I'll link those videos below, or at least I'll link the Lauren Southern video below, and I'll link the channel below that you can find documentaries on. But anyways, peace and have a good day.